My erotica, my smutty books, I prefer to read on my Kindle. It translates a lot better in my head. I can visualize it a lot better. Hey, welcome back to my channel. I have no idea yet what I want to title this, but just know that it's going to be a romance reading vlog. I hope. So lately I have not actually been reading a ton of romance, or at least not a ton of YA. No. Yeah, I haven't been reading a ton of romance. If I look at all the books I've read so far this month, I'm pretty sure most of them are thrillers and horrors, and I already haven't read that much this month. So let's see. Horror, romance, thriller, romance, horror, and 2 romance DNFs. So technically it's kind of even, but I DNF 2 of the romances. They were YA, and that's actually what I've been reading, except for one, like a monster romance that I read. But I'm ready to get back into it. So I'm gonna be starting out this week with Wicked Beauty by Katie Robert. This is the 3rd book in the Dark Olympus series. We're getting started. So today's Wednesday. I'm currently on page 50. So technically I've already made my minimum goal for my day 1 of reading a physical book. So when I read physical books, my day 1 of reading the book's goal is anywhere from page 50 to 100. I always hope to get to 100, but I don't always get there. Sometimes if I start super late, that's the only time. If I start super late, then I don't mind not reaching 50 pages because I started late. When I say late, I mean like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. I wouldn't start a book that late anyway, but I'll say 9:30, 10 o'clock. Like, that's too late to be starting a book because I know I won't be able to make my goal of at least 50 pages. But I started this morning. I went to work. I always go to work early so that I can have a little time to sit. I would rather be wherever I need to be to my destination, wherever, to an event early and just sitting in the parking lot than getting dressed and having enough time to just sit at home and then making it with just enough time to get to the event or work. I don't like that because anything can happen on the road. I want to leave early. And I mean, I be getting there like 30 minutes early. No, I'm lying. I don't think it's 30 minutes. I think it's like 25. I be sitting in my car. But anyway, I read about 30-ish pages this morning, and then at lunch, I read the next 20. Yeah, 20 pages. I really don't have any thoughts about it yet. Katie Robert is kind of a hit or miss author for me just because of where she puts her conflicts. I find that she puts her conflicts like at the very end. Like, I'm talking about 90% in the book is where she puts it, because to me the way it comes off is I'll be reading a book. I'll talk about Neon Gods because that's what I didn't like about that book. I felt like I was reading it and I was enjoying it, and then it felt like, oh wait, I forgot about the conflict. Let me hurry up and put it in here. And then it was put like at the 90% mark, and it just happened so fast, right? And I feel like I've read other books by her, and the same thing kind of happens. But I'm excited to get into this because even though Neon Gods wasn't my fave, Electric Idol was. I'm just hoping that the series just continues to get better and better. I mean, Neon Gods was the first book. Technically, I think there's a book before it, but it's like a half. But I don't care. So yes, I'm hoping to read this. Since I already made my 50-page goal, which is the minimum, obviously I want to get to 100. But let's see, it's 4:33. What can be a reasonable goal? Let's see what the halfway mark of this is, because this is 377 pages. The halfway mark is 188 and a half. I do this with every book that I read. Okay, 188 and a half is in 15. So this is the halfway mark of the book. That's asking a little too much. I'll say 150, but I feel like if I try to get to 150, then I'm gonna want to get to 180. So I'm just gonna play it out by ear and see what happens, because I have a couple of things to edit. I would like to post my July wrap up on Instagram and TikTok tomorrow. It's obviously already on my YouTube. Hell, I've already done August too. But for like all that other stuff, I do a dance wrap up I have the videos, I just haven't put the pictures in them. So I guess I'm just gonna try and play it by ear. I don't really have a number of books that I want to read in here because I think I'm just gonna get, you know, what I'm reading from like Wednesday to Saturday or something. But I did go to the library today to pick up one of my holds. I have 2 others on hold, but that's gonna be picked up at a different library. So I picked up Kiss Me, Mi Amor. I said that all country. I'm so excited to read this. So I more than likely read this next, but we'll see. We'll see how long this one takes me. Day 2 update. I was able to get to a little bit past the halfway mark yesterday. Chapter 16, page 193. 5 pages, yeah. 5 pages past the halfway mark. Right now, I am on chapter 22 so far and page 262. I am really enjoying this. I started tabbing it already. I totally forgot that Katie Robert is one of those authors where I don't tab until like 100 pages, honestly. 50 pages, 100 pages. Electric Idol was just different because I looked at it yesterday and I started tabbing like page 15. But this one, I didn't start tabbing till 33. I know I said 50. I feel like this is the first book of Katie Robert I'm actually interested in the plot. The spice is good, but I like the plot. It's giving fantasy. It's giving Hunger Games. It's giving a little bit of Fourth Wing. Obviously, this came out before Fourth Wing. I'm just saying it's giving me like the same vibe as, you know, I read those. Because there are some scenes in here. Again, there's 3 have I spoken about this book? Well, there's 3 characters. Now, I don't know much about mythology. I know the names. That's about it. And that's one thing about the book or this series that is kind of frustrating to me because she will put a diagram of the characters in the front. They're in all the books, right? Of all the characters, the 13, all of that. And I still don't know what I'm reading. The relationships between them. So like, apparently, so the 3 characters in here are Achilles. I've been calling him Petro for short because I don't know how to pronounce that. Patroclus? I don't know. And Helen of Troy. Isn't that the one? They could be fighting over her or something. I don't know. MMF, it's polyam. I'm just speaking for the book. I'm not speaking about like what real life things she put in the book because this is a retelling. So I'm just talking about the book. Achilles and, again, I'm calling him Petro for short, are together. They're not exclusive. It's kind of, I guess, like an open relationship. There's a little bit of enemies to lovers going on because Achilles and Helen don't like each other. But anyway, let's start from the beginning. One thing about this book is that the 13, the gods, the goddesses, whatever, they're gonna always exist. When one person dies, someone else is gonna replace that person to be that god or that goddess, right? So Ares died, or the person who was Ares died, the human. They mentioned in this book that Ares is the only god or goddess, whatever, that anyone can compete to become Ares. Anyone can do it. They don't have to be from a specific lineage or whatever. Helen wants to become Ares. But right now, she's a child of... Let me look at the little circle. What is she? She's a child of the 13. Okay, I thought so. See, that is so confusing to me. Okay, so Helen's name is at the bottom, right? She's on the outer circle, the outer ring. She is the child, one of the children of the 13. And then underneath it says that Helen is the sister of Zeus. So how is it? So Zeus is in the middle. He is a part of the inner circle, right? Where's Zeus? He is leader of Upper City and the 13. Okay. Then you have the 13. So how is it she's not, how is it she's the sister? Like, that makes no sense to me. How would she be, unless, do they mean literally sister? I don't know, that's so confusing. Unless the 13 have no relation to the children of the 13. No, but that is the 13. You see what I mean? I don't get what I'm reading. But anyways, she wants to become Ares, right? However, before they get together in the beginning of the book, and they're there to officially announce themselves as competitors. Achilles and Petro are there as well. However, Zeus ends up making an announcement. And, you know, he's like, before we get started, yada, 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 ciao. He said, not only will y'all be competing to become Aries in these 3 trials, you're also gonna win. Is it win? But you're also gonna get to marry Helen. What? And that's not a spoiler, it tells you on the back. Her hand in marriage is up for grabs if whoever wins for Aries. And so in my head, I'm like, well, that's it. The book could end right there. I mean, what else is gonna happen? Girl, I forgot who she talked to. Was it Callisto? She talked to somebody, and they were kind of egging her on. Do it anyway. Do it anyway. And you know what she did? She did it anyway. So she's also one of the competitors competing to become Aries, the new Aries. Again, I'm really into the plot. Could I finish this today? Of course. I mean, I read half yesterday. Why can't I finish the other half today? I have 110 pages left. Day 3 check-in. 6:40 a.m. I'm eating some turkey bacon and tea. I've kind of been changing my diet for my hormonal acne that I've been getting because we're going on a cruise in October, and I'm like, we're not dealing with that. And I'm currently on my 3rd week of drinking herbal teas. It took some time to get used to, but it's possible. It's not bad anymore. Except the dandelion and the peppermint. I haven't even tried spearmint, and I know spearmint and peppermint are different, but I hear the word mint, and I didn't like the peppermint, so I don't want to try the spearmint. I finished Wicked Beauty yesterday. I'm gonna give it a 4. Again, there's just something about Katie Robert and her books where, to me, the ending just doesn't give. I find the endings of her books to be underwhelming. As a happy ever after, it's a romance, duh. But I just feel like plot-wise, it was left open. So I'm curious if in the next book, and this is kind of the first time that's happened, where plot-wise it's kind of left open, and I'm assuming it's going to continue as the plot line just through different characters in the next book. I think Radiant Sin is next. I don't know, again, it's just something about the endings of her books. I mean, I'm going to still read them. However, I think that book that I just read, Wicked Beauty, might be my last book that I buy of hers in this series. I think the other ones I'll just get from my library. I don't really have much to say about it. I mean, oh, yeah. This was the first book of hers. I love the plot. Like, I was into it. It was actiony. There wasn't as much spice as I was expecting, which I love that, because I have a thing where I can't really read spicy books in physical form. It's so hard for me because for some reason, it just never makes sense in my head when I'm reading. So that's why most physical books that you see me reading are either YA, you know, or if it's adult, it's going to be like a thriller, or an adult romance, but it just has maybe like one spicy scene or none. It could be like a Fade to Black or something. My erotica, my smutty books, I prefer to read on my Kindle. It translates a lot better in my head. I can visualize it a lot better. Today is Friday. I get off early today. I get off at 1. Technically 12:53. But I'm going to be starting Kiss Me, Mi Amor. It turns out that a fake relationship between enemies is the perfect recipe for a love that sizzles hotter than Santa Barbara's spiciest salsa. So it's fake dating. I'm excited. But it's 6:45, 46. I've got to get going. Not that long. It's 280 something pages. Could I finish this today? Absolutely. Will I? It's up in the air. Okay, day 4 check-in. Today's probably going to be the last day because I wanted to finish this video on a Saturday, and it is Saturday. It's currently 7:02. Honestly, I'm just standing up for the fit. That's why this is such an awkward position. I think I said yesterday, which was Friday morning, that I was reading this. I wasn't able to finish it yesterday. I actually only read about 60 something pages. I'm currently on page 138. I do want to check back in later on because I'm hoping to finish this today. I know it's not going to be a 5. I think it's still going to be a 4. I will say I'm not a huge fan of it. I know that Goodreads is showing a rating of like 3.42 or 3.40, which is very low in my opinion. But because this is a diverse book, I always read them no matter what the rating on Goodreads says. I do think, even though I'm not done, I do think it's a bit too low in my opinion, but I'm not done with it yet. My rating, it's probably going to be a 4-ish, 4.25. The highest is probably going to be a 4.5, but still rounded down to a 4. The lowest could possibly be a 3.75, but rounded up to a 4. Regardless, a 4. I think it's the writing in here I'm not a huge fan of, and maybe it also could be the third POV, the third person POV in here. I don't mind third person. I actually like it as well as first person like everyone else, but maybe third person just doesn't work for this book in my opinion, because I don't know, I feel like I maybe would have preferred if it were first person. My thing was, I didn't really like the setup at the beginning, how the story was being framed. I'm just finally now, maybe 30 something pages ago, we actually got to the fake dating. I'm not quite at the halfway mark. I think the halfway mark is like 5 pages from where I am. They are currently fake dating now, so I think I'm gonna enjoy it more. But I don't know, because he's now calling her a pet name. Babe. Babe. Why are we using that? I don't like that pet name. And he keeps using it and it's getting on my nerves. Oh. They're both Mexican, right? However, they're 2 different, like, generations, I guess. I don't know if that's the right word. He is 3rd generation Mexican. So he doesn't know Spanish. They say in here that he says that his grandfather never taught his kids because he didn't want them to face like discrimination and stuff, and he wanted them to be American. So he never learned it. He didn't learn it in school or anything. Whereas she comes from a traditional Mexican family. Okay, I mean, the misogyny in here is crazy. She went against their word. Mind you, she's 23 and she has a lot of sisters. I think in total there's 10 kids. She's the oldest, I believe. The second oldest daughter, Blanca, she's 21. She is not allowed to date until Carolina dates. That's it. Like, she cannot date or anything. They start fake dating. At first, I wasn't understanding when I was reading this how the fake dating was gonna come a part of this, like how they were gonna start fake dating, because again, I didn't really like the setup and I didn't really see it. Her dad is sick, and again, he's very traditional, and he ends up seeing them together, and he asks, oh, you know, is that your boyfriend? And she just goes along with it and says yes. So that's very interesting. But yeah, I'm just curious to see how this all goes, how this ends, because he's there visiting. He doesn't live wherever she lives. I don't know where she lives. That's it for today. I'm back. My day 5 check-in, but technically this is still day 4. My video technically ended yesterday. I was able to finish reading this, but I never checked back in. So I'm checking back in today for technically day 4, right? I'm gonna give it a 3. I got to about 70% and I was like, you know what? I think it's gonna have to be a 3. So when I got to the end, it was so fast and I just didn't really enjoy it. When I think about the book overall, I feel like it was very repetitive. It kept repeating things, you know, not arguments, but discussions that they already had. So for example, her family is a very traditional Mexican family, and he knows that. He saw it firsthand, and it's like we kept coming back to it. Like when we were like in his head, it was kind of like he still couldn't believe it. And I'm like, what do you mean you can't believe it? We've already had 5 situations where you literally see how traditional they are. And it's like, why are you not comprehending that? Why can you still not believe it? You know what I mean? What was the other thing? Oh yeah, towards the end, I don't know, I just felt like the characters were a little annoying. I felt like with Carolina, I was so frustrated with her because she's very sheltered. She was very sheltered because of her family. And I get that. I felt like I kind of saw myself in her sometimes. It got annoying because it's like you want her to stick up for herself. And it's like she's still, and it's a complicated situation when you think about it, because those are her parents. For example, she owns a home, but her whole family lives with her. Her parents and her 9 sisters. And again, oh, by the way, I'm gonna get back to that point. This is fake dating. Honestly, this is a perfect example of fake dating gone wrong. This is fake dating gone wrong. And we keep seeing in her head like she's not gonna kick out her family like from her home. And it's like in my head I'm like, do it. Do it. What do you mean you're not? But then it's like when you think about it, that is a complicated situation. It's a sticky situation. Those are her parents, you know? And then you kind of realize like her parents are older, different generation. But is that just excuses, you know? And I don't know. I felt like it was kind of frustrating to read sometimes because it's like you're rooting for her. And it's like it's not going anywhere. And then towards the end, who's that? Enrique? I think I was saying Enrique in my head. He got a little pushy. He was a little pushy at the end. I think overall the romance was really fast. Like it came out of nowhere. But it wasn't a bad book. It wasn't a bad book. I would say it's the second half of this that really kind of did me in, because I didn't really enjoy the second part, like not even the second part, like towards the last like 15% of the book, I would say. So what did I read? What was this video anyway? Did I only read 2 books in this? I'll come back. I need to transfer these clips because I don't remember what I read in this video. If I'm going based off of my Goodreads, I only have Wicked Beauty because The Taking of Jake Livingston was in another video. Oh, if I only read 2 books in here. Oh, the video idea was read with me like the end of the week, right? So it doesn't matter how many books I read. It was just what I read. I'll come back. Okay, I'm back. So I did end up looking at my video and I kind of edited a couple of things. And I have only read 2 books in this video, but that's fine because I didn't really want, I said that at the beginning, I didn't really want to focus on the amount of books that I read. I kind of wanted to get a realistic documentation, look at me being fancy, of what I read, you know, towards the end of the week. I read more at the beginning of the week than towards the end. So maybe I'll do a second part to this, but do like Sunday to Tuesday or something. This video was from Wednesday to Saturday. I would say I take about 2 days to read books, especially if they're physical. Read this Wednesday and Thursday, Wicked Beauty, and Friday, Saturday, I ended up reading Kiss Me, Mi Amor. So this is all I read. This is all I read this week. Well, not this week because I did read some at the beginning of the week, but for this video I only read 2 books. Oh wait, but that's fine. I'm already working on my next video, so I'll see you next week. Bye. Oh, by the way, before I leave, I normally always have a clip of me doing my thumbnail. I actually already like pre-filmed it because I liked my outfit, even though you only see the top half, but it's fine.